All right, this is for chemistry and physics students. I want to try to save you some headaches and go over two really common problems that mathematically come up, and I see it year after year. So if I can save some of you from a little bit of the headaches of these algebraic issues or calculator issues is the first one, then great, we're better off. So problem one comes from this right here. Here's an example. Right now, pause the video, type this in on your calculator, and get an answer. Then do it in your head and get an answer, and see what you get. So type it in your calculator, and do it in your head, and see if you get an answer. All right, now that you've tried that, did you get an answer of 4, and or did you get an answer of 1? All right, and if so, which one do you think is correct? So obviously, look, this is 10. The bottom that's a multiplication sign, by the way. So that's right there. And so, and the bottom's 10, so the answer is 1. So why, when you type your calculator, depending on what calculator you have, when you do this, multiplied by 2, well, maybe now you can see it divides first and then multiplies. So 10 divided by 5 is 2, times 2 is 4. But really what you wanted to do was multiply those two first. Well, on a calculator, you have to bracket the bottom to make sure that it does that first, because the computer does exactly what it's programmed to tell you, not what you kind of intuitively want it to do. So it's very literal with how it does these calculations. Well, where does that show up in chemistry and physics? Well, let's look at problem 1b here, right? You would divide this in scientific, these are scientific notations, and you can divide this. Well, scientific notation is a multiplication problem. If you do not put this in parentheses, you will have problems there. Now, you could go ahead and do this for good measure, but you don't have to do the top one, but you can if you want to. And now, when you do this, it will divide out, and you will get the right answer. Just so you can look at the right answer, I guess I'll type it in right now to give you the correct answer. Times 10 up to the 5th, and we're dividing by, parentheses, 4.81 times 10 up to the -2nd. And that should get you 7214137. So that's 7 million, or 7.214 times 10 to the 6, right? All right, let's go on to the last one now. The last one is plague students. Even worse, maybe, even worse, is this. Like, oh, this problem 2, that's easy. I got this, Mr. Hendershot. The answer is 200, maybe, you might think. No, the answer is definitely, most likely not. Let's do it in our head. 20 divided by some number is 10. Oh, the answer is 2. How did you get 200? Or some people might get 1/2. And also not good. The answer is 2. We can do it in our head. 20 divided by 2 is 10. The problem comes from trying to memorize an easy way to solve an equation. Just memorize something. That's like without understanding. And I use the work to strive to understand, and then you'll never have these little mistakes. Strive for understanding. Yes, it's more difficult, takes a little longer, it's a little more painful, but strive to truly understand mathematically what's happening in whatever subject you're doing. So, and not just get by. So if we look at this, you have to, where is the variable? The variable is in the bottom. It's what we're trying to solve for. Whenever we get something, we want it to be z is, that's equals, z is something. What's on the bottom? We don't like it on the bottom. How do we undo division by z? We multiply by z. Now, most people are like, oh, yeah. Do the steps, multiply it out. Now it's 10 times z, which is 10z equals 20. Now it's easy, divide by 10, divide by 10, z is equal to 2. So just keep that in mind, okay? We have those type of issues to worry about. Also, With physics, I want to point out one more thing too. If you have the question 100 equals x squared, what is my answer? You'd be like, oh, it's 10. You take the square root, and that's true. X does equal 10, but it's only half right. When you have something like this with a square root of a squared, you're going to have 2, and the answer, two answers, it's plus or minus 10. And so it's both of those. Mathematically speaking, it's both 10 and negative 10. But in physics, sometimes we want one answer and the other answer is not right. So for instance, if I had a velocity and the ball was going downward, and you solved and you got x squared equals 100, and you said it's plus or minus 10, well, the ball's going down, so it's the negative 10 is the correct answer in that situation. So please keep that in mind, physics students. Chemistry students, there you go, you had a little bit of extra in there. So, all right, I'll see you on the next problem.